I've been reflecting on Rayman recently and revisiting some of my favourite video games ever, which happen to be most of the Rayman series, and while doing this I realised just how much my tastes have changed from when I was a child. My ex-favourite levels are now some of my least favourite, and vice versa, and I've gained a new appreciation for the levels that I never used to care for. Well, as part of a mini-series I started not so long ago, I'll go through the best and worst levels, boss fights, music tracks, and more in the 5 mainline games. This video will outline what I think is the worst level in each game. I previously made a video about the best levels, so be sure to check it out and don't forget to subscribe if you like this kind of content, or just Rayman in general. Lots more to come in 2025, so be ready. Anyway, what's the worst level in Rayman 1, in my opinion? Now, I've explained before that Rayman 1 isn't my bag. I don't like the unreasonable level design that demands trial and error and forces random deaths upon you based on invisible platforms or enemies, or just leaps of faith. I appreciate a difficult game if it's fair, but I personally don't think Rayman 1 is fair. It's a waste of potential in my opinion, but I also appreciate that some people really like that style of game and love Rayman 1, so I'm not saying it's bad, just not my cup of tea. I really do want to clarify that, because I do kind of like Rayman 1. I mean, I do like Rayman 1, a lot of it. It's just not the genre of game I adore, so it's my least favourite, just kind of by default. It's like saying Assassin's Creed Black Flag would be my least favourite Assassin's Creed because I just hate boats and ships and pirates. Now that's not true, Black Flag is one of my favourites, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, sometimes it ain't for me. But despite all of this, you see, in my opinion, the worst level of Rayman 1 is actually separate from the usual platforming levels. It's the final boss against Mr. Dark. How do you go through this whole journey, all these punishingly hard levels, collect everything the game has to offer, master every skill, beat every boss fight, and then you've just got to do this? It's disappointing. I don't think it's especially hard, at least not compared to the journey you have to take to get there. It's just a very short session of dodging the same kind of attacks you've had to dodge the entire game. Mr. Dark should have been much more exciting to fight in my opinion. I mean, you barely even see Dark himself during the fight. I don't know, it feels like a damp squib after everything else. The boss fights are the one area that Rayman 1 excels in my eyes. The bosses are hard, but you can learn them, you can get good. But this one, it's just the weak link for me. I do like Rayman 1, for the record, I'm going to say it again, I just don't love it like some people do, and that is absolutely fine, because what I love about Rayman 3, for example, some people won't love, and that's okay. That's what makes this franchise so special. Everyone has a different favourite for everything, different favourite level, different favourite game, different favourite character, you know? Anyway, moving on from the worst level in my least favourite Rayman game, what about the worst level in my favourite one? This is such a tough one because I don't dislike any level in Rayman 2, or Rayman 3 for that matter, so it's very difficult to work out which I just love the least. I can tell you my top 5 easily, but the bottom? I don't know. I know some levels in Rayman 2 get a lot of flack. Some people don't like the Sanctuary of Stone and Fire, which is valid, I guess. I mean, it's a huge level, it's not easy, it's probably the one that sticks out the most in that regard. I personally absolutely adore it, so that's not going on this list. Maybe Top of the World? Those chair segments are a waste of time, but nope. I really like the end where you fight the couple of barrels running around in the storeroom. It's a hard choice. If I were to be really cheeky, I would say all the extra stuff added in Rayman Revolution. Those combat sections are poor, and one of the reasons I don't love that version, but I've gone on about that before, so to get to the point, I'm begrudgingly saying the canopy. Freeing Glowbox is fun, and that's about it. Some of the pirate encounters are exciting, and getting that power up is a nice moment, but other than that, none of this level really inspires much excitement from me. Like, it's fun enough, but I don't think back to any moment of it as a big standout. I'm waiting for Glowbox to move at a snail's pace to come and do that rain dance. It's just boring in my opinion. I'm not a man who shies away from difficult games, so I just want to preface this by saying I don't dislike the level because of this, but fuck that Spider-Man. Yeah, I still like this level, honestly. It's just a damn good game. I could have said The Woods of Light for being so short and stuff, but that's a tutorial level and I feel like that's exempt from this kind of rating, you know? As a tutorial level, it's great. The canopy as a normal level is fine at best. So that was hard enough to find my least favourite Rayman 2 level, but what about Rayman 3? Well, if you saw my video going through my favourite level in each game, you'll know it was incredibly easy for me to select my favourite Rayman 3 world, and it's equally as easy to select my worst, the Bog of Murk. Now look, I love this level, I love this game. Rayman 3 is one of the greatest games ever made in my opinion, and that's in no small part due to the phenomenal world designs, which is why a fantastic world like the Bog of Murk can end up being placed so low. When you're up against the Land of the Living Dead and the Desert of the Kanaran and the Longest Shortcut, how do you ever expect to come out on top? I just think the elements to this world are a little disjointed. The mansion is underused, the boggy areas all feel thrown together, the old lady's house has no real purpose other than just to run through it. A lot of the world feels less tight than the rest of the game. Some of it I love, the music and the atmosphere is top notch, but the whack-a-mole fights, running aimlessly around a mansion just to throw one punch and then do it again, I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't hit the same as the rest of the game. I still like it a lot, I just love the rest of the game, even more, you know? I know it sounds like I refuse to say anything negative about Rayman 3 and Rayman 2, I guess, but frankly, I don't really have anything negative to say about them, which I guess means I should segue to Rayman Origins. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it again. There are no levels in this game that I particularly dislike. Rayman Origins is fantastic, and if you've seen some of my earlier videos, you'll know that I think this is almost entirely because of the level design. So this is a very tough decision to make, but I do have a few levels that I don't love. These levels all have one thing in common and are generally the weakest part of any game for me. Underwater levels, and in this case specifically swimming with stars. Look, I don't dislike any level in this game, but I do dislike water levels and levels with limited visibility. So really the excellent mechanics, music and feel of Rayman Origins is doing all the heavy lifting here because this level has everything else going against it for me. Like I said, I don't dislike it necessarily, but I just don't like so many things that went into this level that I feel like it's an unfortunate change of pace that puts a black mark on the first half of the game. Water worlds almost always suck, in my opinion. I know other people disagree, that's absolutely fine. I don't like them, but this level really is my least favourite from Rayman Origins. Not the worst thing ever, but certainly not excellent like the rest of the game. Rayman Legends. Do I love it more than anything like I claimed 5 years ago in the Rayman rant, or have I matured and realised that behind the bells and whistles are a series of derivative levels devoid of the magic the predecessor possessed? Yeah, the second one. I like Rayman Legends, but man, if you strip the Origins levels, the music levels, the bonus content and the invasions away, you're left with some crazy disjointed level packs that are a slog to get through, only to be saved by decent enough boss fights. I know that does sound like you've taken everything good away from the game, and that's kind of my point. I'm just saying, like, the main levels, the normal ones, they're the problem here. Rayman Legends shines when it's not being the main game, and in my opinion that is a shame. Anyway, Murphy sucks, even on the console he was designed for, and for that reason it's incredibly easy to say that the Winds of Strange is the worst level in the game. I don't think momentum is the most important thing in a game. Rayman Legends rewards exploration. Slowing down is a good idea, but my god, Murphy just did not work. Cool idea, but woof, this is just not fun. Every Murphy level goes on way too long and just stops the level dead in its tracks. Rayman controls so well, both in Origins and Legends, so to take that control away from the player every few seconds in half of an entire level is a choice. The challenge maps are okay because they're momentum based, Murphy is a one-click deal and you have plenty of time, but the main levels just are not designed that way, and every time I see Murphy in a painting of a level I'm about to jump into, I sigh. I don't know, it's just not that fun for me. Maybe it is for other people, and if so, I'm glad, because clearly a lot of work went into this mechanic and I do hope some people love it. I could put any Murphy level on this list really, but this one feels like the worst of them. I don't love this world anyway, so to curse it with Murphy just, I don't know, makes it a sour level in my opinion. So yeah, those are the worst levels from each mainline Rayman game. Do you agree? What are yours? Let me know in the comments. And of course, I have to rank them in order of best to worst, I guess, so number 1 will be the worst level of these. Number 5, the least offensive, is the Bog of Murk. Great game, no bad levels, it feels wrong calling it the worst. Next up is the Canopy. Same deal really, I mean, Rayman 2's near perfect. Rayman Origins comes in at number 3. I don't love this level, but it's better than the next two. Mr. Dark's boss fight is number 2. I don't inherently hate it, it's just more disappointing for me than anything else. And with that, I just don't really love it. And then Rayman Legends with this Murphy level. It's not fun. It's a bad level, and I hate to say it, but Rayman Legends has a fair few bad levels. Anyway, that's enough negativity. I love Rayman and I'd rather talk about the good stuff, so stay tuned for the next video in this series where I will go through my favourite boss fights in each Rayman game. This franchise is very inconsistent with bosses, so they should be interesting to go over. But until then, stay cool, stay purple, stay limbless, and I'll see you in the next one.